Hey everyone, Mike from Overpool. This is the start of a series that I talked about in the beginning, that we would at one point go back and cover different cars that I've created, starting with my 2001 VW pickup. You've seen me mention it in other videos. The car's nickname is Uli. We named it after my father-in-law, who recently passed away. Uli is not a UTE. I hate that term UTE. It's either a pickup, or it's a car, or it's a truck. It started out as a 2001 VW Jetta wagon, which I picked up in Norfolk for $350. It was a complete 12-valve station wagon. Excuse me. But the motor was messed up. We took code scanner, determined that it had crank and cam position sensor faults, so we knew it through the chains. I believe he was originally asking $5 for the car, and we talked him down because we found those codes and knew right away that the motor was junk. I knew what I wanted to build. I knew how I wanted it to look before we bought that. We probably went overkill because it was the first one we were doing. We got it in here. We got the car up in the air. Don't forget that I'm working out of a dirt floored shed that's been added on to about 7 times. So it took us damn near a day to do. I mean, it was super overkill. We were worried to death that that car was going to flex when we cut the roof off it. So we put jack stands, 4 jack stands per side, using a level and making sure everything was supported. We then turned around and gutted the rear doors of everything, left the strikers in place, closed the door, and then welded the door shut. Before we welded the door shut, we put 1x1 tubing extending from the front face of the B-pillar to the rear of the door opening itself. And that was hard welded in. We notched the inner structure of the door. When it closed, it was tight. Then once the roof came off, we went in and we did some additional gussets to that bar to help reinforce. Fortunately, VW built these cars incredibly strong. When we cut through the B post and the C post, it was actually, I think, 4 or 5 layers of steel. I mean, it weighed a ton. So they really built these cars strong from VW. We cut the roof off. I determined I wanted to go 4 inches back from the sunroof, from the rear of the sunroof, just for a preliminary cut point. We changed it a little bit after we figured out the rear window and the curvature of it. Basically what it ended up being is what I wanted. I wanted to take that rear hatch, cut it in half, and use the rear window portion of it for the rear window of the cab, and the bottom half for the tailgate. The bottom half for the tailgate worked out great. Using the top half for the rear window was not so great, because the glass was so tall, because of the slant of the hatch on the back of the wagon to give you enough view. When I mocked it up into place, the rear window, the bottom of the rear window, was 2 inches deeper into the bed than the top surface of the bed. So we tried a couple different rear window opening frames that we found in the junkyard. One was from a Buick Regal and a couple other cars, and they were either too narrow or the shape wasn't right. In the end, what we ended up doing was chopping that top section of that tailgate. We shortened it up a total of, I think, 4.5 inches, and then had Lexan cut to a form that I made a template, sent it off, and had 3/16 Lexan cut to fit the opening. Next was forming the roof where it rolls over that apex. Having that to match the bends and the curves on the Jetta. We went through a series of different pieces of metal that had the right curvature. Come to find out, a standard Jetta trunk lid had the right curvature. We used a standard Jetta trunk lid to make the middle of the back of the roof line. The side pieces were actually the side wing pieces from the original hatch, and then added to them. So all the curves and all the angles complemented the cab and the flow and the curvature of the truck. That's what I want. When it comes to the tailgate, that was a huge undertaking. We decided to, because when we put it in to where there wasn't a huge gap at the bottom, we had 2.5 or 3 inches height difference from the cut off portion to the top of the bed rail. We cut up 2 GLI trunk lids because it had that molded lip into the back edge of it, the leading edge of it, and that let me continue the body line around the edge to match the quarter panels, and I think we did a good job of doing that. My son Robert, who's an excellent metal fabricator, we fabricated the panels that transition the quarter panels into the tailgate stop. That was a topper that we had to make to actually fit that to the tailgate, and actually that the taillight housings would actually mount up into the opening. That tailgate has a single 1,000-pound hinge in the center of it. At the bottom, conventional pickup hinges were not usable because of the curvature and the angle of it. But the tailgate functions just like a regular tailgate. Ours is a little different because we use strikers and actuators from the VW, from that car and my donor car.